Quite a while ago, I made a video talking about some issues I found in video games that not many people talk about. The first one was 60 FPS frame caps and the second was FOV. I look back at those issues I had, and though I still agree, I've come to find some much more annoying issues as of recent that I don't see many people talking about. Now this first one may seem a bit nitpicky, but really does affect video games more than you might think. When it comes to multiplats, there's always one thing I can count on. No, not that the PC version will be superior. No, not that the PC version will have a bad port. It actually has to do with controllers. See, when it comes to a lot of PC titles, you get a ton of games with really advanced controls. I've played some games that made me utilize the whole left side of my keyboard. Take a game like Receiver. This game is very interesting in that it's all about the gun. There's one key for every action you take, whether it be to reload, pull out the magazine, insert a new magazine, even simply hold the flashlight up next to your gun. This may seem tedious, but the concept of the game is to make it feel like you're actually fiddling with the gun in a very stressful situation. As you're firing at robots and turrets, your gun can jam, and you have to go through 1,000 buttons as fast as you can to fix your gun, and this game is suspenseful in that it does simulate this very well. This game could never be played on a controller. The game would have to be dumbed down. Now, I don't mean any offense there, but a controller can only do so much. This is why reload is always one button away, or simply done for you in multiplats. This is why most of them have such a basic control scheme. Even games like No Man's Sky, which is a space explorer, a genre that typically contains very advanced controls, had a control setup that made me feel like it was holding my hand. I'm not saying controller support is bad, but when it comes to multiplats, I can always count on it being very simple when it comes to the control scheme. I've definitely been surprised, don't get me wrong, and again, I'm not making this like it's a huge thing that needs to be fixed. I love using my controller every now and again, but it just bothers me sometimes when a multiplat comes out boasting about how advanced it'll be, and I know the controls are just going to be similar to all the other ones. The second issue is much larger. Have you ever been playing Rust, or DayZ, or H1Z1, or any other competitive survival game? You're crouched down, laying in tall grass, hiding, waiting. You see the enemy base across the way. Your team moves in very slow. It's taken hours to gather the supplies you need just to destroy this team. You start to crawl forward, all camoed up and in cover, and all of a sudden, you're sniped in the head. Almost like you weren't even invisible at all. Almost like you were hiding in plain sight. You wanna know why? Some may guess hacks, and in a way, you're correct. I don't know why the hell any developer would design a competitive survival shooter and allow the players to turn grass off. Look, I get it. Grass can be demanding on lower spec systems, but as a player who jumps in to play the game and utilize everything the developer supposedly wanted you to, you use grass to hide, right? You lay down on it for cover, and that one prick who knows this hack and turns their settings down to get that edge, they just destroy you. Now, whose fault is this? It's great the developer wants everyone to be able to play their game, but when it alienates the players who can run the game at medium plus settings, it's an unfortunate thing. Not something I've seen happen in many multiplayer games, mostly just the survivals, but still, this needs to be fixed. The last one has to do with game trailers more than video games. One thing that annoys me with movie trailers is how much of the story the trailer gives away. These days, I watch a trailer and it's almost as though I saw the whole movie. As though the director thought, well, this movie's gonna suck, I already know nobody's gonna watch it, so I'll just shove the whole movie at them now. Save some time. When it comes to video games, however, I have a similar but not so similar issue. Why is it when you watch a game trailer these days, you get literally no gameplay? This mostly happens to AAA games, but you end up watching a movie trailer, telling you the story, trying to reel you in with the cinematics. Is this a bad thing? Well, it's annoying, but no, I guess not. The thing I really don't like, though, is that because none of these trailers show any gameplay, the trailer's not representative of the game at all. Graphically, ambiently, cinematically, aesthetically, none of these trailers these days are indicative of any of it. This annoys me because, honestly, it's a bit misleading. Typically, the graphics are substantially improved in these trailers. Then you pretty much have no idea what the gameplay is like, and you have to go based off the story alone. It's useless information. Barry, if you care about the game, you'll look up gameplay. Yeah, this is true, but do you know how many people base decisions off trailers alone? Don't get me wrong, as the consumer I would never purchase a game based solely off the trailer, but I know a lot of people who do. I'm also not saying this is a big enough deal that it needs to be changed, but I do think it's a problem. Especially when you are like me, and you don't watch game trailers because they give you nothing to go on. This means I have no hype for these games that may be very good because there was no gameplay footage. I had an idea the other day. An idea that Disney, Pixar, and DreamWorks could implement for PCs. The idea was simple. Kind of like how you load up a game and play it, you could buy their movie digitally, adjust the movie's visual settings, tessellation, anti-aliasing, frame rate, and watch it depending on how capable your hardware is. Problem with that is the hardware it would take would probably have to be incredible, and having your computer constantly rendering a movie might be tricky. Plus, all the increased development time for these movie companies and all the time you'd waste adjusting your settings just right, it'd probably take an hour just to start watching the movie. And if you're like me, you'd spend so much time in the settings menu you'd probably never finish it. I mean, not like that matters, you already saw the trailer.